Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining our Career Connections webinar. My name is Brent Giangregorio, and I'll be your host today. We're very excited today to partner with State College of Florida, Solomon Exam Prep, and Merrill Lynch for today's webinar on careers in financial services, and more specifically, the FINRA SIE Exam Prep course offered at SCF in partnership with Solomon Exam Prep. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping items. Today's session is being recorded. It will be available on our YouTube channel within 48 hours. As well, we'll send the link to the recording along with any of the presentations or materials you see today to everyone that registered for today's webinar. Because this is a webinar, all lines are automatically muted. You won't see yourself, but you'll see us as the panelists. But you can ask questions using the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. So as we move through the presentations, feel free to type your questions into the Q&A box, and we'll leave about 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the session for questions. Okay, so we have a great lineup of speakers today for you. First, we're going to hear from Jeremy Solomon, president and co-founder of Solomon Exam Prep. Then we're going to hear from Charles McFadden, Market Executive Managing Director for Merrill Lynch Wealth Management. And then we'll move to Q&A, as I mentioned. And after Q&A, if everyone could stay on for 1 extra minute, a survey is going to pop up on your screen. We would really appreciate your feedback. It's really important as we use these surveys to help us with future webinars and programming. Before I turn it over to our presenters, I just want to take a few minutes and tell you about the Women's Resource Center. The Women's Resource Center has been empowering women in Sarasota and Manatee County since 1979. Currently, we have 3 locations across both counties, one in Bradenton, one in Sarasota, and one in Venice. And we serve over 1,700 clients a year and deliver over 5,000 hours of programming. Our goal at the Women's Resource Center is to engage, educate, enrich, and empower women of all generations. We're really a place where any women can call us when they're not sure to turn to for help. To do that, we offer our clients resource advising, we've got mental health counseling, career services, we've got career closets. Additionally, we offer educational workshops, programs, and scholarships, as well as legal and financial consultation and education. All of this is offered at a low or no cost to our clients. Since this webinar is about careers, I'll talk a little bit more about our career services. The first being our career coaching program. Our career coaching program offers clients individual assistance in preparing for a successful job search. And that can really include anything from career discovery, resume preparation, interviewing skills, networking techniques, and much, much more. Additionally, we have career centers at each of our locations where clients can come in and conduct online job searches, work on applications, update their resumes, get help with computer tutoring, help managing LinkedIn profiles, Indeed, job sites, and other Microsoft Office applications as well. Additionally, we have 2 career closets, one in Bradenton, one in Sarasota, where we have free clothing and accessories for women who are attending job interviews or just to secure a job and need work attire. I want to also mention we do serve clients that may need clothing for any reason as well. Currently, our career closets are open Monday through Thursday from 11 to 3. Okay, so once again, we'd love to hear from you. So if you do have questions, please click on the box at the bottom of your screen titled Q&A. You can type your question in there. And as I mentioned, we reserved about 10 to 15 minutes at the end to go through all of those questions. And then as a reminder, our Career Connection series is recorded. So each of you can watch the replay in case you missed any information. We'll send out the replay via email in 24 to 48 hours to everyone who registered. And again, we'll include any flyers, presentations, and other materials from the presenters today. And one last plug, as a reminder, we really want to hear from you. So when the webinar ends, if you can stay on just for 1 extra minute, that survey is going to pop up on your screen. And we really would appreciate it if you would complete that survey. So that being said, I'm going to stop sharing, reshare, but I would like to introduce Jeremy from Solomon Exam Prep. And all right, Jeremy, take it away.
Thank you, Brent, and thank you everybody for joining us. I appreciate it. My name is Jeremy Solomon. I'm president and co-founder of Solomon Exam Prep, and Solomon Exam Prep helps people, done it for almost 20 years, helps people pass securities licensing exams, also called registration exams. And the one that I'm going to give the most focus to is the most basic, the first level one called the SIE, or Securities Industry Essentials exam. That's the first level, and the one that's referred to on the screen on the slide. But first, before I do that, I want to explain to people why there are these exams and what they mean. A lot of people in the beginning, at least, I sure was, are confused by this. So just taking a step back, in the world of financial services, which is a very broad, big world, there's a part of it called the securities industry. And securities industry does not refer to, obviously, to like, patrols or security in the sense of a police officer or something like that. It means safety, some sort of safety to the financial world. And the reason it's referred to as security is that a security it's actually a misnomer. A security is something that's fundamentally insecure. It's risky. Unlike, let's say, a bank deposit, you put your money in the bank, it's probably FDIC insured, and the bank is very safe, and your money isn't going to disappear tomorrow. So it's not called a security. It's not a security. What is a security? Well, securities, there have been a lot of debate and discussion, but securities pretty much has come down to a definition that the Supreme Court has given us. Sorry to get into the weeds, but it's very important and very useful if you want to really understand this. A security is something, it's called the Howey test. A security has 4 elements. So first of all, it's an investment. It's some kind of investment. You put money into something. It's an investment into a common enterprise. Okay, so it's not just you. It's a common enterprise, and it's actually not just you. It's an investment in something that other people are doing. So it's an investment in a common enterprise that other people are doing, and the fourth and final prong is the expectation of profit. So it's an investment into a common enterprise that's done by other people with the expectation of profit. So in other words, you give your money to someone else in the hope that their efforts are going to result in profits to you. And that's what a security is, according to the US Supreme Court. And that means that you're basically trusting other people. And that is the key element in all this, the trust. Okay, so 100 years ago, there was very little regulation, or let me see, 1923, very little regulation, maybe some state regulation in this industry. So what happened was people would invest in securities and stocks and bonds, et cetera. And then sometimes those investments would just disappear, and the investors had no recourse or very little recourse. And it was extremely risky. So after the Great Depression, the stock market crash of the 1930s and the Great Depression, the government created a lot of regulation and rules and laws and tried to make things safer and more transparent for investors. So there was information and there were rules. And a big part of that, out of that came organizations called the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and something else later called FINRA, which is a sort of sub-regulator. And those 2 organizations created a big set of exams. Those exams are called securities licensing exams or securities registration exams. And those exams are required if you want to work in the securities industry. So if you want to go into that industry or even touch it, really, because if you want to work in insurance, for example, and you work with a product that might be a securities product, you have to get licensed. So, or if you're some technology companies now require that you get licensed. So this industry is heavily regulated, basically to instill trust in investors that their money isn't going to just disappear. Because if there weren't these protections, the potential for fraud and abuse and people getting ripped off is enormous. You know, everybody's retirement money, everybody's everything, their investments depend on trust. And a key part of that trust in this system are these exams. So I gave you a bit of a background. I'm just going to go one more step in here. So just to be clear, what is not a security? Well, a bank deposit, when you put your money in the bank, that's not a security. For many people, their house is their biggest investment. Your home is not a security. If you bought it, it's not a security. It's your thing. Another one is a fixed annuity, and that's an investment where you make an investment and then it's promised that you're going to get a fixed amount of money in the future. Or a life insurance policy is usually not a security. Those are not. But if you were to invest in stocks, that means shares of a company, or bonds, which are the debt, the IOUs of a company, or options, or ETFs, or mutual funds, or anything where you're investing in a common enterprise, and there's the expectation of profit, that is a security. Okay, so enough of the school learning. Let me go to the exam. So if you're interested in the securities industry, the very first step is something called the Securities Industry Essentials exam, SIE for short. And it's created and offered by something called FINRA, which is the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. It's a mouthful. And FINRA is it's not the only one, because there's a couple of other ones, but they're called self-regulatory organizations. And it's the industry's private police force, to put it sort of simply. It's very big, and they create this exam, Securities Industry Essentials exam, and that exam is the first step. So if you want to get licensed and be able to go and work for Merrill Lynch, for example, or many other kinds of companies, the very first step that you're going to need to do is the Securities Industry Essentials exam. And what's terrific about this exam is several things. Number one, it's not really big. It's 75 questions. Actually, technically, it's 85 questions, because they give you 10 test questions they're trying out that are not scored, although you don't know which 10 they are, but 75 officially questions. It's an hour and 45 minutes. It can be taken by anybody who's 18 years or older. There's no sponsorship with a firm required. You can just take it. You can take it multiple times if you don't pass it, but with Solomon Exam Prep, you should be able to pass it the first time. It costs $80. So other exams given by FINRA can be a lot more expensive. This one is less. You can take it at test centers around the country, actually around the world, Prometric test centers. You could also take it online now. So they have an option to take it online on your computer. So that's available. And it's a very broad test. So it exposes you to everything basically in the securities industry, but it's not a complex, hard test. It's really just an introductory test. So you learn a lot. And even if you don't go into the securities industry, it is a very, very useful exam to study for. So you have that knowledge, because we're all in the United States on our own, basically, for our survival and retirement and navigating the financial world. And this exam gives you so much information about investments. It's really, really good. It's broad. It's not really hard. It's empowering. And if you do want to go into the securities industry, or you think you might want to, this is the required first step. Another good thing about the SIE is it's good for 4 years. Most FINRA exams, securities exams, are only good for 2 years. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you take one of these exams, and you decide to leave the industry, and you want to, Elon Musk invites you to go to Mars with him. If it's the Series 7 or the Series 6 or one of the upper level exams, you only have 2 years. Well, actually, that's changed recently. You can extend it. There's a new program they just started to extend it, but you have to do continuing education to keep it going. But officially, it's 2 years. So if the trip to Mars and back is going to be longer than 2 years, well, you will have to retake the Series 7. But if the trip takes longer, and I have a feeling it's going to take longer, the SIE will be good for 4 years. If you come back and it's 3 years and whatever days, you still are good with the SIE. You don't have to retake it, if that makes sense. So that's really great. You know, it's good for 4 years. Let's see, what else to tell you about the SIE? No sponsorship required. Yeah, when you take the SIE and you want to then go into, let's say, work for Merrill Lynch, a great firm, by the way, if you want to work for them, you're going to have to go and take more exams. And those additional exams are probably, in the case of Merrill Lynch, but I will let Charles speak about that, the Series 7 exam, which we offer and which you can take through the State College of Florida at a big discount, by the way. I will have to say, there are very nice discounts that they have offering. So you could take that, but you're going to need to be sponsored and fill out a background check and do a bunch of things through the firm to take that. With the SIE, you don't need to. You can do it all by yourself. So that first step, you don't need anybody else. You can just try it out, see what it feels like, learn the knowledge, see, do I like this or not? Is this something that's important to me? And I'll tell you this, we get contacted all the time. About 2 weeks ago, we got a contact from a senior person at Wells Fargo. They're desperate for people who've got the SIE already. They want them to have it already, or they love that. And they pay a signing bonus, and they were asking us, and we get that all the time. So getting the SIE in advance before you go on in the market and the job search, if you're interested in financial services, is a real plus. It's a very smart move. It shows people that you have the knowledge, investment in some time into this, and that you're capable of doing this. So that last thing brings me to this. Many people, let me say the passing score on this exam is 70%. For most of these exams, it's 70%. Some of them are 72 or 73. 73 is the highest. It varies, but for the SIE, it's 70%. And let me tell you this, with these exams, some people are afraid, and you shouldn't be. They are knowledge tests. They're not tricky. They're not math tests. They're knowledge tests. So you learn information, and then they test you on the information in a straightforward manner. They actually want you to pass, but they want to make sure that you know what they want you to know, because you're going to have a position of trust and financial authority. And so the bar is learning knowledge and being able to apply the knowledge in little scenario questions. But the bar is not, can you figure out some trick or advanced math? There's no advanced math in this. I just want to reassure people, math generally stops at about, I would say, 6th or 7th grade level. Okay, that's it. The most basic algebra is possibly on there, but not really, actually. It's just percentages and ratios. So don't worry about math. And if you are able to learn the material, you'll pass. And our pass rates on these exams are very, very high. Everybody can pass these exams, and everybody can get into this industry. And let me end by saying this: jobs in the securities industry, not all of them, but many of them are very high paying. And it's a growth industry too. I don't know if it's growth generally, but there's a lot of innovation going on. There's a lot of financial technology companies, and we have, for example, a couple of them as customers. So it's kind of exciting, or it can be. And there's a lot of different avenues to go. So I think I'm all done. Let me just check my notes. Yeah, I'm done for now. Thank you all for listening. I'll let Charles take it away.
Jeremy, thanks. Hi. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Brent, can you guys all hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Perfect. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks, Brett, for inviting me. So my name is Charlie McFadden, Market Executive of Merrill Lynch. We are part of Bank of America. So we became part of Bank of America, almost 15 years ago now. So it's been great for us. As the market executive, I cover what's called the Southwest Florida coastal market. So that consists of 7 Merrill Lynch wealth management offices, I've got Bradenton, I've got Lakewood Ranch, I've got Sarasota, I've got Venice. We continue down, I've got Punta Gorda, I've got Fort Myers, and I have Naples. I oversee 140 financial advisors and about 65% of their, about 65 support staff. And then I have a local management leadership team here as well. We probably service over, actually, we do service over 10,000 clients, mostly investments, similar to what Jeremy spoke about, stocks, bonds, ETFs. We manage, believe it or not, with 10,000 clients, we manage $30 billion of their investments in just that market that I just brought up. So careers in our industry, not just at Merrill Lynch and Bank of America, but any other firm in the financial services industry. To Jeremy's point, the first step usually is the SIE exam. If you're interested in this business, I strongly encourage you, just like Jeremy did, you can take that test on your own. You don't have to be sponsored. You don't have to be employed by a Merrill Lynch or a financial services firm for the SIE exam. So that would be your first step if you're interested in a career in financial services. If you're interested in becoming a financial advisor, let me talk a little bit about our training program we have here, probably similar to most other firms. It starts with testing. Again, to Jeremy's point, you take the SIE exam, you take the Series 7, you take the Series 66. These are all license registration exams through FINRA. And we also ask you to take, in this case, the local state, in this case, Florida, the state insurance exams. So you have your insurance license. So that's phase one of the testing program. You basically go back to school. But we sponsor you, at Merrill Lynch or any other financial services firm. Again, you can take the SIE on your own, but you need to be sponsored for the Series 7, the Series 66, which usually means you need to be working at that company. So we would sponsor you to take that test. When you come over here, you're studying, you're working, but we're basically letting you study a good part of the day so you can pass these tests. Once you do that, you go into our banking centers, Bank of America branches, and you start working. And again, the training program continues, but there's a little bit of an on-the-job training component to it. So you're in what we call our advisor development program, training program. You're fully licensed. You're talking to our bank clients. You're introducing them to our investment platform so you can try to get them not just to bank with Bank of America, which means they have their checking and their accounts and their savings account, but also to open up a securities account and invest in stocks. And that would be your initial role in a training program. You can stay in that role and become what we call a banking center financial solution advisor. Or if you want to continue, you can come over to the Merrill Lynch side and continue your training with Merrill Lynch with the ultimate goal of becoming a Merrill Lynch financial advisor. As I mentioned, I have 140 financial advisors in my market alone. My market is one of 105 markets around the country. And that's just Merrill Lynch. So I think Jeremy mentioned there's a lot of opportunity in this industry if you want to get in the financial services business, if you want to be a financial advisor. So again, you could graduate over to the Merrill Lynch office, you continue training, you continue working with new clients and building new clients. And once your training program is complete, which usually takes about 3 to 4 years, you are a fully fledged financial advisor here at Merrill Lynch. You continue to grow your business by getting more clients. You have an option. You can join a team. We have a lot of teams here, or you can be a sole practitioner. One of the advantages of being on a team with other financial advisors is, we like to say 1 + 1 = 3. If you happen to be, really good at bringing clients in, and another FA happens to be really good at investing, hey, let's team up, and I can focus on bringing the clients in. You can focus on doing the investments. So we have a lot of teams, and not just 2-people teams. We'll have 5, we have 7, 8, 10-people teams, or we have sole practitioners. So you have a lot of options there. Other options, you don't have to be a financial advisor. You can be a wealth management client associate, which I referred to before. We have 65 of those folks. They support, and again, we strongly encourage them to get licensed, and we support and we sponsor them to get the licenses that I mentioned before. So our wealth management client associates are not financial advisors, but you would support the financial advisors in our Merrill Lynch Wealth Management office. I think, again, I said there's about 65 in my market. We sponsor you. We want you to get licensed. You spend a good deal of time working with our financial advisors as well as working with our clients. So it's a great career opportunity as well. Other career opportunities, You could be a manager. You can be crazy enough to do what I do, right? And I oversee it. Now I started out as a financial advisor, but now I've decided to be a manager. I have managers that work for me. I have client relationship managers who really work with our support people. And I have market supervision managers who really focus on our compliance and oversight that we need to do. This is all different career paths that you can take. You all have these licenses to take these career paths. And again, many of our competitors have a very similar program that I just spoke about, and actually similar career options that I just spoke about, whether it's our bigger competitors who are Morgan Stanley, a UBS, a Wells Fargo, Raymond James, and then there's smaller regional firms. So there's a lot of opportunity. As much as we'd like you all to be working for us here at Bank of America Merrill Lynch, there's a lot of opportunity at a lot of other firms to do the same thing. Banks as well. You can be a bank financial advisor at a Citibank, at a Chase, at Truist, which is more of a regional bank here. And then there's other financial firms, and I'm sure you may have heard of Fidelity, Charles Schwab. They all have licensed employees who service clients or are in a management leadership role in financial services. Another opportunity, home offices, or what we would call corporate offices. Now, for Bank of America Merrill Lynch, it's in Charlotte or it's in New York. That may not be, that attractive to folks on the call. I think Morgan Stanley and UBS are also in New York. Raymond James, however, their corporate offices are in Tampa. Charles Schwab's corporate offices are in San Francisco, and I think Fidelity's in Boston. So, the beauty is, in financial services, it's not just being a financial advisor. You can support financial advisors. You can be in a leadership position. You can be a corporate home office position. All of them either require or strongly recommend the licenses, which all start, to Jeremy's point, with these SIE license. And a little quicker than I thought, but Brett, that's what I've got. Hopefully we've got a lot of questions.
Beautiful. Thank you, Charles. Jeremy, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about the actual exam prep course. What does that course entail? How long does it take to complete? What are the logistics or mechanics of that prep course that is being offered at SCF with you?
Sure. Yep, I unmuted myself. So the Solomon Exam Prep SIE study course is a self-study. It's online. We do offer a live recorded class once a month. It's a week-long class, 3 hours a day, but it's not necessary, and most of our students do not take it. It's only for people who really want a live class. 95%, 97% of our customers do it self-study. And what does that mean? Well, I'm not going to log in and show it to you right now, but you log into our account and you get, there's a schedule. You choose how many days you're going to study, or how many weeks, I should say, you're going to study. It ranges from 3 weeks to, I think we've got the longest one we've got is 15 weeks, which is very long, but that's because of another college that we work with. You choose a path, basically, how many days you want to study or how many weeks. And then it gives you a calendar, and that calendar tells you every day what to do. Read this part of the study guide. So our core document, our core learning tool is our study guide, our textbook, basically. And we offer it online. We offer it as an audio, so you can listen to it. It's a full verbatim recorded audio, or you can have a hard copy if you want to read with a physical book, if you're like me and you're old fashioned. So you read, and then there's a video, you watch some video, and you can listen if you want to, that's extra. And then there are little quizzes along the way. It's very straightforward, very simple, probably very familiar to everybody. You're reading, you're watching, you're quizzing, you move forward. It's a path. There are 10 chapters on the SIE exam in the Solomon study course. And we move from products, which is what is a stock, what is an equity security? A stock is an equity security, to debt securities. What is a bond? What are the other kinds of debt securities? Then we go to options, which are a little more, actually we go to alternatives and then go to options. So we start with products, then we go to the markets. What are the different markets? The New York Stock Exchange, et cetera, NASDAQ. And then finally at the end, we go to the rules and regulations, which is, it's the stuff that you really, you need to understand the products and the markets in order to understand the rules. So we end with that. And you go through our system. It's generally, we say on this, on the course, about 60 hours. That's an approximation, but it varies enormously. If you've got a background in this, if you worked in a bank, or you like to invest in the stock market, or whatever, you took economics in college, you might be able to do it in 40 hours. Many people can. But if you have no background in it, and you're unsure of yourself, it could easily be 100 hours. It really ranges, but 60 is a good average. And then at the end of it, with our course, you're going to take practice exams in our system. We have a simulator, and you take these practice exams, and the practice exams approximate what it's actually like to take in an exam. And they tell you where you're doing better, where you're doing worse. And then you're going to get something called a pass probability score, which is a percentage that tells you how likely you are to pass at that moment. And it's based on thousands of other customers that we've had, tens of thousands, who have passed and failed. And it compares you to them every time you take a new exam. And it gives you an approximation. We tell people that we recommend not to take the exam until your pass probability is 75% or higher. Obviously, though, you can do whatever you want. Okay?
Beautiful. Thank you, Jeremy. Charles, we have a question here. You were talking about the specific exams required to become a financial advisor. And I believe you mentioned 3. Can you reiterate what exams those are again?
Yeah, sure. Jeremy can probably go into more detail about what they consist of, but the first one, of course, is the SIE exam.
Right.
So I don't know, it was several years ago, maybe longer than that. There was the Series 7, and that was it. And then what FINRA or whoever decided to do is sort of break it up into 2 different parts. First part being SIE, second part being, Series 7. But so they combined, or they split them into 2 exams. So SIE, which Jeremy talked about, then is the Series 7, which is just, it's an expansion of some of the topics. And again, Jeremy can probably go into that better than I can. And then the Series 66, which is another exam. And then we strongly encourage you taking in the insurance exam in your state, in this case, Florida, to get the local state licenses, insurance license. So it's really the SIE, the 7, the 66, and insurance. So there's 4 exams. If you want to be in a leadership position, which I didn't touch on, which if you want to do what I do, or a couple of my managers here, then you need 2 more. You need the Series 9 and your Series 10, which are supervision type exams. But initially, it's the SIE, the 7, and the 66, and then hopefully insurance.
Wonderful. Thank you. What I was hoping that either of you may be able to speak a little bit about, sort of, as an individual gets started in this industry, maybe they have passed their SIE exam and they've got sort of a role with a financial services company. What sort of wages or salaries can people expect when they're first starting sort of in this industry, even just approximates?
Yeah, no, I can address some of that. So, if you're going into our financial advisor training program, and again, this is approximate, you can't quote me on this, and you're going to be and your goal is to be a financial advisor. The starting wages are usually around, somewhere around 60 to 75,000, with the potential to earn bonuses, which is important. So you'll have goals on how many accounts can you open, how many, how much assets are you able to bring in from clients that we can manage their investments for. And so those bonuses can make it pretty good. If you hit certain goals, your bonuses, you can get up to, another $10,000 to $20,000 a year. Now, obviously, as a financial, that's initially. As a financial advisor, your compensation there's no limit, right? Because as you grow your practice and you do more business and you bring in more clients, you get paid on you get paid a percentage of what the assets, of the value of the assets. So the bigger you grow your individual practice, or your team practice if you're on a team, the higher your compensation can be. On the support side, if you decide to go down to support and be a support person for a financial advisor and their clients, The starting salary is around the same, maybe a little less than what I mentioned before. But again, as you get licensed and you get good at what you do, most of our financial advisors, in addition to the salary and the bonus that they receive from us, most of their financial advisors they support will also provide them what we call supplemental compensation.
Mhm.
And that can be very, very lucrative. And that's just not here at Bank of America Merrill Lynch. It's pretty much the same at most of our major competitors as well. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. All right, attendees, if there are no additional questions, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I really want to thank our panelists, Charles and Jeremy, for joining us today, giving us some really great information, some introductory information on the financial services industry. And again, if everyone can stay on just one extra minute, answer a survey that's going to pop up on your screen, I'd greatly appreciate it. With that said, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Take
Hey,
care.
Greg, just
Yeah.
one thing. I will send you that link, for job.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Take care.